Hi, I'm Miss Sarah, and I'm one of the preschool teachers at For the Nations. I teach 4-year-olds, but I also teach Bible to some of our kids. So today we're going to start with a preschool lesson, and then we're going to have a little bit of our Bible time. So let's do our hello song. Hello, 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 and how are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. I wonder if we could do it this time like a dog. Let's try. 1, 2, 3. Arf, 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 arf. Good job. Maybe one more time. Let's see. Let's try it this time like a sheep. What does a sheep say? Sheep says, bah. Let's try it this time, but using a sheep voice. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bah, 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 bah. All right, good job. So in our class at school, we have been learning about God's big story. And to help us with our big story, we use pictures to help us to remember what we've learned. So, first, we have the world. Who created everything? Who made it? God did. That's right. And everything God made was good. And God loved it very much. He made trees, He made water, He made birds and animals and land, and He even made people. The first two people were Adam and Eve. And God gave Adam and Eve everything they needed. He also gave them some rules. He said, don't eat the fruit from the one tree in the garden. But Adam and Eve, did they listen to themselves and do what they wanted to do? Or did, when the snake came and told them a lie, did they listen to the snake and do what God said not to do? They listened to the snake and they did what God said not to do. And when that happened, sin came into the world. And does sin make everything good, or does sin make everything bad? Yeah, sin makes everything bad. It makes people fight with each other. It makes people not want to listen to God, and it makes it hard to be friends with people in the world that we live in. And so when Adam and Eve disobeyed God, sin came into the world, and sin makes God sad. And God told them, it won't be sad forever. One day I'm going to send someone who is stronger than sin, stronger than the snake, who will crush sin and the snake forever. We've been learning about who that person is. We've learned about when God sent a flood, but He kept Noah and his family safe. When God promised not to destroy the world with water again. About when God promised Abraham that he would have a big, big, big family, and that He would give him more people in his family than all the stars in the sky, and that He would use someone from Abraham's family to bless everybody everywhere. We've learned about Isaac, and we've learned about Jacob and Esau, the brothers. We've learned about Joseph and how God was with Joseph even when everything was bad, and how even though bad things happen, God uses them for good. We've learned about how God rescued His people from Egypt, where there was a mean king who thought he was stronger. We've learned about how God gave His people good rules because He loves them. But can the rules save us? No, because we can't follow the rules all the time, because we have a big problem. What's our big problem? We have sin. Sin is our big problem. And who has sin? Do I have sin? Yes. Do you have sin? Yes. We all have a big problem, and we can't fix it. We learned about when God gave His people a new home, and they marched around the city, and they didn't even fight. They just waited on God, and when they blew their horns, the whole city fell. We've learned about how God chose a king named David for His people, and how David was a good king, but Jesus is a much, much better king. We learned about Daniel and how he was in the lion's den, but God shut the mouths of the lions, because what can God do? Anything he wants to do. And who's stronger, a lion or God? God is stronger. We learned about how God sent a messenger, an angel, to give good news that a baby was going to be born to Mary, and that baby was going to save the whole world from their sins. And who was that baby? Who did God send to save his people from their sins? Jesus. We learned about when Jesus was born, but he wasn't born in a castle like a king. He was born in a barn with the animals. And how Jesus is the true king of everything. We learned about how people brought him gifts and worshiped him. We learned about how Jesus was a kid just like us, just like we were, and how Jesus listened to teaching, and Jesus was in his Father's house, because who's Jesus' Father? He's God's Son. That's right, Jesus is God's Son. But Jesus is not just God's Son. If you go to class, you know Jesus is all the way God and all the way man. So he's like us in that he's all the way man. He was a baby, he had a mom and a dad, he went to school and brothers and sisters, but not like us. Jesus never sinned. He's perfect. And Jesus is totally God. He can do all the things that God does. So if God is all the way strong, then Jesus is all the way strong. That's really cool. And if God knows everything, then what does Jesus know? We learned about how God said, "This is my son, and I love him." We learned about how Jesus helped his friends. He told them, "Go put your net on the other side of the boat." And when they pulled up, they caught so many fish that they couldn't even count them. Because what can Jesus do? Anything he wants to do. We learned about when lots of people came to hear Jesus teaching, and they were hungry, and nobody had enough food, but there was a boy who had 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, and Jesus said, "Father, thank you for this food," and he began to give it to the people, and there was so much food that they even had leftover food for everyone to eat. We learned about how Jesus is stronger than sickness, and Jesus can make the blind, people who can't see, can make them see. We learned about when Jesus was in a boat with his friends and a big storm came, and what was Jesus doing? Do you remember? He was sleeping, and his friend said, "Jesus, we're going to die." But was Jesus scared? No, Jesus wasn't scared. And Jesus woke up and he said, he said to the wind and the waves, he said, "Shh, be quiet." And what happened? The wind stopped and the waves stopped. Because what can Jesus do? He can do anything he wants to do. And how strong is Jesus? All the way strong. Then we learned about a little man named Zacchaeus. And Zacchaeus was a man with no friends. He broke a lot of rules. He wasn't very nice. He's not the kind of person that we would want to be friends with. But when Jesus saw him, did he say, "Go away, you're too bad. You've done too many bad things"? No. Jesus said, "Zacchaeus, I'm coming to your house." And he went and he ate with Zacchaeus, even though Zacchaeus had sin. Because Jesus came to save sinners. So I have a new story for us today. It is a story that Jesus told. We've said that Jesus was a good teacher, and he went around teaching lots of people about God, and he did lots of miracles. Miracles are things that God can do that Jesus did, because Jesus is all the way God, all the way man. So Jesus told a story about a sheep, and he told these stories to teach the people something. So today we are going to hear a story about a sheep that was lost. What does it mean to be lost? It means that somebody can't find you. Maybe you can't find your way home. Or maybe you lost something before and you couldn't find it. Lost means you don't know where it is, or maybe you don't know where you are. So, one day Jesus told a story. This is what he said. So here's the people, and they're listening. Jesus said, there was a man who had some sheep. You see all those sheep? That's a lot of sheep. And he loved his sheep. Every day, the man took his sheep out to a grassy hill, and the sheep ate the grass. Because what do sheep eat? Grass. And the sheep were happy because they had a nice place to live, and they were loved by their shepherd, and they had lots of good food to eat. They had everything they need. Every night, the man took his sheep back home, and every night the man said, are all my sheep here? And he looked at all his sheep. See the sheep? He counted them to find out. He would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All here. All my sheep are home. The man was happy. He loved his sheep. But one day, something happened. In the morning, the man took his sheep out to a grassy hill. The sheep ate the grass, and the sheep were happy. So there they are. They're eating. They're happy. At night, he took them home, and he said, are all my sheep here? He counted them to find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait a minute. The man ran back to the grassy. Wait a minute. I missed a page. Oh no. One sheep was gone. How do you think he felt? Maybe scared, maybe sad. Let's see. The man ran back to the grassy hill. He loved that sheep. He looked here. No sheep. He looked there. No sheep. And he looked everywhere. He looked this way and he looked that way, and no sheep. But then, what was that? Something white far away. It looked like it was his sheep, the lost sheep. The man was very happy because he loved his sheep. He picked it up and he took it back home. Was the sheep in trouble? No. Then the man called his friends. He said, be happy with me. Let's have a party. I found my lost sheep. Yeah, and Jesus told the people, when anyone says, yes, I will love Jesus, God is very happy because God loves people. So this story Jesus told was kind of about sheep, but it was also about being lost and being found. And Jesus tells us that when we have sin, and we all have sin, that we're lost. It makes us far from God, kind of like that sheep. We don't know the way. We go off and we do our own thing. We're not in the sheep pen with all the other sheep. And that Jesus is the good shepherd. And when he realizes that his sheep is gone, what does he do? He goes to find his sheep. He looks everywhere, and he comes to rescue the lost sheep. And when he finds his sheep, does he say, sheep, you've done bad, go away? No, he brings the sheep back home, and he tells everyone, come, have a party with me. Let's celebrate, because the one who was lost is found. And Jesus, even better than this man, Jesus is the good shepherd, because when we were lost, when we were far away, when we had sin, he came to save us. And we're going to learn more about how Jesus does that. Thanks for listening. I miss you guys, and I hope that you're staying safe at home with your families.